So we're going to talk about another idea that came up that I was asked about was when families are struggling with raising kids with special needs, and there's a marriage or you're living together, there are lots of challenges that can occur with a family trying to raise somebody with special needs. Sometimes there's power struggles between the kiddo and the parents, and who's really the parent and who's really the kid, and all kinds of things. But I know, I haven't looked at the statistic recently, but I believe the divorce rate for special needs is somewhere between 75 and 80%, which is very, very high. So people have asked me, hey Kate, what have you done to stay married? I think I've been married, oh boy, 32 years. And how have you survived 32 years? And raised young men with special needs. They're now young men because they're in their late 20s. So one thing that Joe and I always did was we spent a lot of time focusing on making time to communicate. You really have to have that time, and you know what, honestly, we used to have to schedule it. We really did, because we get so caught up in our day and our life and what we were doing, and you know, him working and traveling and me running kids all over the place. By the time I got home at night, I was exhausted. So we would schedule time to communicate. We used to do this really cool thing. When he got home, we would sit down for 15 minutes. We scheduled 15 minutes. And I would get the boys engaged in something that I knew would keep them engaged. You know, things like these days you have iPads. I didn't have iPads then, but it could be a TV show or a video or something. And we would just talk about each other's day for 15 minutes, okay? And honestly, it's a great thing to train your kiddos to do. The other thing we did was we made sure we scheduled date nights. We had them scheduled way in advance, and some of them I would plan, some of them he would plan, but we made sure that we had that in place. And so I made sure I had, whether it's a relative or a friend's kiddo that knows your kiddos really well, or somebody you hire. I mean, these days on care.com, you can hire special needs sitters by the hour. So that's always an option. That I didn't have that option, but there's so much more available now. So make sure you're doing that. And you know what? Be kind to each other. The third point I would say is be kind and be patient with each other, because there's going to be times that you're having a great day and your spouse is having a horrible day, and vice versa. So be patient with each other, and I would say allow a lot of grace when it's a rough time, and do allow each other to have those moments where you're just gonna maybe say to your spouse, why did this happen to us? Why do we have the kiddo with special needs and nobody else in the neighborhood does? I mean, it's not the case, but you just feel like, why me? You're going to have those moments, and I would say to Joe, you know, I'm just going to say something really inappropriate right now because I need to, and I need to get it off my chest. Don't take it personally, and forgive me afterwards. I'll apologize afterward. So allow that freedom to happen, and really, you as a couple are in charge of what works for you personally. If your spouse really gets relaxed if they can go golf, let him go golf. Let people, you know, if I used to love just going to the movies by myself, if you can believe that, or going to the grocery store by myself. So schedule those things in for yourself. It's really not complex. And again, make sure that communication is happening. You got to talk.